Coming to you live from Johannesburg over the next hour, an in-depth look at the big local, international and African stories that are shaping our world this evening. This is Tonight with Jane Dutton. The curious case against Duduzane Zuma, an important charge, is dropped. He's still facing culpable homicide and negligent driving charges. We find out what happened in court. The killing fields of KwaZulu-Natal, politicians and ANC members murdered, more than 100 in 6 years. And the police, hardly anywhere to be seen. With high-profile ANC politicians now going to court, will anyone be finally convicted? And how did we get here in the first place? South Africa's youth have always been politically active, but not when it comes to voting. Political parties are playing catch-up to try snatch the new young voters. It's a tough job when parties are either racist or riddled with thieves. Will more political engagement work? Might it sway you? We're going to have it out with three young leaders here in the studio. Checkpoint, deadly school transport, the horrifying and dangerous vehicles used to ferry our children to school. But first, the news headlines. More startling revelations at the state capture inquiry. Former Bosasa auditor Piet Venter has confirmed that Gavin Watson paid President Cyril Ramaphosa's son. Venter says Watson instructed him to deposit 500,000 rand into Andile Ramaphosa's foundation trust.
So I made the payments even though I knew that this was not correct. The 2.5 million rand was for the purchase of Ms. Gouse's residential property and 500,000 rand to EFG2 for an ABSA bank account. I was merely told it was for a foundation trust of Andile Ramaphosa, the son of the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa. I found this strange, but wouldn't dare question Mr. Gavin Watson.
Duduzane Zuma's trial is finally underway. He's pleaded not guilty to a charge of culpable homicide and negligent driving. Zuma had faced 2 counts, but the state has withdrawn the second count, saying the deceased had a pre-existing condition. 5 years ago, Zuma crashed his Porsche into a minibus taxi on the M1 highway, killing 2 women. Zuma says it was raining and he lost control of the car. The NPA initially elected not to prosecute but reversed its decision last year. The matter's provisionally been set down until Friday. The Public Investment Corporation has placed acting CEO Motsepe More on precautionary suspension with immediate effect. The PIC board says the suspension aims to ensure there's no interference with the commission of inquiry currently underway. It follows testimony by Development Manager Alvin Skill. He says disciplinary processes were instituted against him just before the commission started. He also said there was an environment of threat and fear at the PIC. Vianney Hakor, the executive head of properties, has been appointed acting CEO. Well, no surprise announcement here. Energy Minister Jeff Radebe admits Eskom continues to face serious capacity challenges with electricity supply. Radebe is now calling on independent power producers and gas producers to speed up development to contribute to the grid. Eskom said there'll be no load shedding this week, but that could change.
It is clear for all that Eskom alone cannot meet our power capacity requirements, because we estimate that the capacity extension under the IRP will cost in excess of 1 trillion rand in the period up to 2030, including the new power plants plus the requisite transmission and distribution infrastructure.
And the Mozambican government is preparing for a cholera outbreak it says is inevitable after the devastation of Cyclone Idai. Nurses in the central port city of Beira have been distributing chlorinated water. They hope this will act as a temporary solution to prevent waterborne diseases. The International Red Cross says the situation there is a ticking time bomb. After heavy rains and flooding left more than 700 people dead, Doctors Without Borders say the cholera outbreak could spread quickly due to Beira's dense population. Bafana Bafana has returned home to a hero's welcome, a brace by Percy Tau and several incredible saves by goalkeeper Darren Keat gave South Africans reasons to celebrate against Libya. Bafana Bafana will now take part in the African Cup of Nations tournament to be hosted in Egypt in June. Head coach Stuart Baxter says the win has given his team confidence.
We looked very, very good, and I thought the players were, as I say, I thought they were magnificent to a man. And the lads that were supporting from the bench and the lads that were supporting from the stand, everybody, they did a fantastic job for the country, and they need to be recognised for doing that.
Still ahead, the bloodshed in KwaZulu-Natal. Hundreds have lost their lives to political violence in the province. What's the history behind this volatility, and why has so little been done to stop it?